I am that I am is the whole truth, Bhagavan often used to say. Be still and know that I am God. There's another one he liked. I am that I am. Means I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. I am that which I am. That's it. That's almost the most you can say about it. Because you can't say I have any particular quality, really. So I am that I am is actually a very pure expression. Just realize I'm giving maybe a better answer here to your question. I am that I am is actually a very pure expression, because how else would you explain what you are if what you are cannot be put into words, cannot be described, has no attributes? You say, what am I? Well, I am. Well, what are you? Well, I am that which I am. Well, explain. Well, it's what I am. That's what I am. I am that which I am. Oh, are you this? Are you that? No. Well, what are you? Well, I am what I am. So there's also that part of it as well.
Just on a note, I don't know if you ever, maybe you didn't listen, with Popeye cartoon, Popeye used to say, I am that I am. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, was it? I am what I am. I is what I is, or something like that, wasn't it? I is what is, and I don't know. What was it?
And it made sense to me as a child. Yeah, I thought, well, he knows what he's talking about.
Go on, Jimmy. You can say it in your best Popeye accent. Go on. Jimmy's volunteered an answer in the comments. I am what I am. Anyone else got anything they want to say or ask today?
Hey, Tom. You were saying I am what I am, but I was wondering if it was saying I am that I am, meaning I am because there's nothing else, you know. I am that I am. I am here because I am here.
Yeah. The other thing about these sorts of statements, excuse me, the other thing about these kinds of statements, which are these way these statements are unusually phrased. I am that I am. It's not a normal sentence. It's not a normal sequence of words that we would use in everyday language. So what that can do, that can kind of, it can be, you know, like the Zen koans. It can kind of jar the mind and convey something that wouldn't ordinarily be conveyed. It can make you think about these things or put you somewhere, move you somewhere, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, in your understanding. It can speak to you in a way that maybe a more sensical phrasing or a more normal phrasing can't. So there's that aspect too. But I would agree with what you've said as well, Jimmy.
It's like the reason I am is I am.
I mean, there's so many different translations of the Bible, and some of them are very literal. Some of them are there to explain the meaning. Some of them are just literally just translations. You could probably do some research if you wanted to find out what the more literal translations are, as opposed to the more well-known or classic translations. Again, it's beyond outside my area of any real depth of knowledge. Bhagavan says, I. That's what your I, follow the I. Now, again, he's probably using the word nan, which means I, or I am. But if we just take it at one word, I, that's even shorter. In whom I, Bhagavan says, just by repeating I, it will take us to the self. Meaning, we repeat that, but we place our attention towards that, where that feeling I takes us towards the subject. It will take us to self-abidance, liberation. Just I, just following that. Elsewhere, Bhagavan says the highest mantra, even higher than Om, which is traditionally said to be the highest mantra, Om. Om symbolizes the I am, by the way, the self. He says even higher than Om is I. And presumably Nan in Tamil. But in English, they translate as I. Don't bother with the am. Why bother with the am? Why bother with the that? I am that. Just the I. And Shankara says that in his commentaries, he says, Tat Tvam Asi, 3 words. And if anyone's read and gone into Vedanta teachings and their commentary and the intellectual analysis, they analyze these 3 words. They spend quite a long time analyzing tat, which means that, analyzing tvam, which means you or thou, and asi, which means are. You, that you are. Tat Tvam Asi, that you are, that thou art. Tat Tvam Asi. Shankara says, so people say, okay, I've got to understand what that means, which is Brahman. I've got to understand what you means, I, what I am, because someone's saying you are that, it means I am that. So I have to understand what I am. I've got to understand what that is. Then I understand how we're the same, right? It gets a bit complicated. Shankara says, just by understanding who you are, I, understanding the meaning of Tvam, which is thou, which means I in this context, right? Just by understanding the word thou, Tvam, you will understand the meaning of the whole sentence. Meaning just by understanding what you are, I am, understanding I, you will understand the whole sentence. You don't have to understand what Brahman is. You just need to understand what you are. When you discover what you are, you will discover Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. Which means you will just discover the I am, which is that. And Bhagavan tells us the same thing in Guru Vachaka Kovai, somewhere in Guru Vachaka Kovai. I think it's the beginning of the 2nd section, actually. Let me see. Yeah, in the verse 505 to 508 in Guru Vachaka Kovai, Bhagavan explains this as well. Verse 506 of Guru Vachaka Kovai. Those high heroes seeking freedom from the fierce heat of this false world and yearning for the truth supreme of being, awareness, bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. Those high heroes seeking freedom attain the glorious goal of mukti only through the keen inquiry of thou, that for the jiva stands. He's saying the people who really, the heroes, he calls the people who undertake self-inquiry the true heroes. It's very heroic and brave to go beyond the body, mind, and world. Those heroes who are seeking freedom free from the fierce heat of this false world, suffering, having a body. Having a body is suffering. Living in this world is suffering. This is what it is to be an individual, to identify as a person, have a body. It's a burden to have to make decisions, to have to look after this, to have to look after that. This is suffering. Those high heroes seeking freedom from the fierce heat of this false world and yearning for the truth supreme of being awareness bliss, attain the glorious goal of mukti only through the keen inquiry of thou, meaning tvam in Tat Tvam Asi. That's for the jiva stands. He's saying the word tvam, you are that, stands for the jiva. Jiva means the individual, I. Because you inquire into who you are, that is how you attain liberation. And then verse 508, inward investigation true, earnest and keen of the term thou, which is tvam, the term thou, you, results in the blissful experience of the meaning hidden in that and art. He's saying in this Mahavakya, Mahavakya means great saying, great utterance. Maha means great, Vakya means saying. Tat Tvam Asi. Just by inquiring into Tvam, you, meaning I, you'll understand the whole. You'll understand the meaning of the two other words as well. Inward investigation true, earnest and keen of the term thou, results in the blissful experience of the meaning hidden in that and art. The reason he says this is that many scholars spend all their time trying to discover what Brahman is outside of themselves and trying to understand the meaning of the scriptures. What does art mean? You know, thou art. What does that word mean? What does, just no, don't worry about those other two words. Just understand what you are, and then the whole sentence will become clear. Shankara says the same thing in his commentaries. One of Shankara's students, his name is Sureshwara, he also writes about this as well in a text called Naishkanamya Siddhi. Naishkanamya Siddhi. Siddhi means a power, extraordinary power like telepathy or levitation. That's Siddhi. And these special powers. And Naishkanamya means no action, no karma. So he's talking about the power of having no action. The Siddhi, the supreme power of doing nothing. Naishkanamya Siddhi. It's a phrase that basically means liberation.